So maybe
is going to...
Hello everybody, and welcome to Inside Jacksonville, a production of the University of North Florida's Department of Communication and the CW17. I'm John Newsom.
And I'm Shafalika Bhatnagar. We're here each month for stories about life on our favorite coast, the First Coast.
Jacksonville loves its sports teams. Inside Jacksonville's Alfred Nairn takes a closer look at the different ways our beloved Jacksonville shrimp get involved in the community.
Baseball has been a part of Jacksonville's history and culture since the early 20th century. Hall of Famers and current players have risen up the ranks and have gone on to have great success in the majors. The Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp is one of those minor league teams that help develop young players to head to the majors. But what separates the minor leagues from the bigs?
Minor league baseball is really important. I mean, it covers so many locations, obviously nationwide. And I think the thing that sets minor league baseball apart that Major League Baseball can't necessarily match is A, price is significantly cheaper, and B, the experience is really truly geared towards families, to young fans, and the interaction you can get with players and the different sorts of promotions and all different things that are geared towards fans having a more hands-on experience really sets minor league baseball apart. Obviously, it's been a part of Jacksonville for decades and decades and decades. And first the Jacksonville Suns and the Jacksonville Expos, and now the Jumbo Shrimp have really had a big part of the community. And it speaks to what minor league baseball's mission is to have a really affordable, family-friendly, fun atmosphere, which the Jumbo Shrimp try to personify every single summer here in Jacksonville.
A family-friendly environment is a primary mission for an organization that has been around Duval County, and their goal is to demonstrate that each and every game.
The Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp, formerly known as the Jacksonville Suns, have been playing minor league baseball in Jacksonville since 1962. But their main mission is to help the community on and off the field.
Although family fun is a primary goal, winning on the field is just as important.
We're super excited. Opening day is April 4th, so it's coming up pretty fast, obviously. We've got a lot of really great promotions we'll have. I think we have about 20 different fireworks nights, which are obviously really popular. Our Thirsty Thursdays are really popular throughout the year. And, you know, for the baseball fans who are watching, the Marlins are our parent club. They've made a lot of really big moves to get more talent into the farm system, and hopefully we'll be able to reap those rewards as well. So we're really looking forward to opening day. It's always a fun atmosphere. Hopefully throughout this season we'll get a bunch of people from the whole city to come out, and it should be a lot of fun.
Alfred Nairn, Inside Jacksonville.
There's no better way to have a good time while supporting your community than to go out and support our local teams.
Next up, two women decided they needed to take matters into their own hands when their favorite exercise studio closed. So they opened their own. Inside Jacksonville, Jessica May shows us how an alternative fitness studio is trying to help lead women through exercise that many may find taboo.
When people think of pole dancing, they usually think of strippers. But for Lorien Anderson and Jamie Clark, dancing on a pole is about empowerment and fitness.
People who love this fitness and this exercise and this activity, there's not a lot of places for us to go. So Jamie and I started talking about, would we be willing to make the commitment to do it so that we can have a place at the beach, and we decided that absolutely yes.
Owning your own business is difficult, especially with the challenges of being a woman in the fitness industry.
I think we're always going to have to continue to struggle with people taking us seriously, maybe at first.
It's a lot of work opening up a business, and there are little things that we have to do every day, you know, and it's silly stuff sometimes, but I've learned a lot.
Despite the hardships, at the studio they are able to instill strength and confidence in women.
I mean, there's so many people who have said they feel more confident, they feel more sexy, they feel more alive.
I think you can't kind of help but to empower people doing it. In the community of women, there's empowerment.
Women are ditching the traditional gym for pole dancing. 56-year-old Carol Cullen traded in a treadmill and lifting weights for high heels and a pole to compete in pole athletics.
It sounds very simple, like I'm going to be in a competition, but it's unbelievable how much work it is.
For Carol, polling is a technical sport that requires more than physical strength and endurance.
To me, it's a very mindful practice. It's very athletic. It can be sexy, but you don't have to be sexy. You can be very focused on the athleticism of it. You have to know where you're putting your hand. You have to know where your head is. If you're upside down, you better know where your feet are.
For those who are looking for an exciting and innovative form of exercise, try pole dancing. All you have to do is start.
There'll be some comment like, well, I can't do it. And I'm like, well, you know what, it's really fun, and all you have to do is begin. And once you begin, then you gain that strength.
Jessica May, Inside Jacksonville.
To get more information on where you can find this alt-fit studio, go to unftv.com.
Coming up next, I visit an extraordinary little girl with the spirit of a fighter.
Also, after the break, a look at a local shelter doing everything they can to bring hope to the homeless population in Jacksonville.
Welcome back to Inside Jacksonville.
Coming up, we'll take a look at some inspirational stories inside Jacksonville.
Every life is precious, and no one knows this better than the Loftus family. I went to meet them and their extraordinary daughter, Katelyn, who might just be the strongest little girl alive. This is Katelyn. She was born healthy and normal, but her biological parents neglected her as an infant, leaving her severely handicapped. She would never be able to walk, speak, eat, or even roll over in bed on her own. Brian and Lucy Loftus knew all of this when they decided to foster Katelyn.
I was a medical foster parent at the time, had no intentions of adopting, and we just fell in love with her and ended up adopting her when she was like almost a year and a half old. We were also told she probably wouldn't live very long, and Katelyn had another plan.
Katelyn is still with them today, 7 years later, but it hasn't been easy. She's been through multiple surgeries, including brain surgery. She struggles with seizures, and she experiences episodes of storming. That's where Katelyn's heart rate will spike to a very high and painful level, and these episodes have lasted for days.
When she was going through that, it was very painful for her body. And that was the hardest thing of my life to watch. I would cry every day for weeks.
Through medication and surgery, they've been able to dramatically decrease the severity of Katelyn's seizures and storming. They're now able to manage her symptoms at home and are able to keep her more comfortable. Mrs. Loftus considers herself blessed to have a team of nurses that can provide Katelyn with round-the-clock medical care. But they aren't just nurses, they're part of the family.
When you hear the story of what happened to her, you can't help but feel engaged if you have a heart. I absolutely love Katelyn, and I couldn't think of anywhere else that I would want to be.
You know, we take joy in the happy things when she's not having a lot of seizures, when she's smiling at us, you know, when she's, she just looks happy, which is often, you know, when it's her time, we'll be ready to accept it. Because we've given her, we believe, the best life that she could have, given the situation that was handed to her, unfortunately, by her birth parents. But we love her tremendously.
John Newsom, Inside Jacksonville. If you want to know more about Katelyn's condition, what caused it, or how abuse and neglect can affect a child's development, please visit unftv.com.
According to Trinity Rescue Mission, over 3,000 individuals suffer from homelessness. Inside Jacksonville's Nathan Dean shows us how one homeless shelter is looking to go above and beyond.
That was a struggle.
For Glenda Gale Mitchell, her entire life has been a struggle. These struggles led her to moving here, the Sulzbacher Village. The Sulzbacher Village is a local homeless shelter located in downtown Jacksonville. This facility continues to turn lives around, even when it feels that all hope is lost.
Before coming here, when we lost our home, before going into the Sulzbacher, we were in our car for a few days. And so, I had like no hope. Since I've been here, I got a job. And it was through their help and vocational rehab combined, I got a job. I had been out of work for 8 years. Between the downtown and here, I've been with the Sulzbacher for about 2 years. As far as my daughter is concerned, they have a very awesome, in-depth, detailed children's program that helps her with homework assistance. I believe a lot of her grades that came up was because of the homework tutoring.
The Sulzbacher Village has been assisting the lives of women and their families from all over Jacksonville. And although this $20 million facility opened up in 2018, it was only a matter of days before they were at full capacity.
Over 43,000 clients have been housed since 1995. Over 1,100 were served last year, the fiscal year of 2017 to 2018. We serve meals every day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, up to 1,500 meals a day. And most of those are cooked and served by volunteer groups. When we don't have a volunteer group, it's 2 staff members and occasionally some clients that will help. Sulzbacher's mission is to end homelessness, one person at a time. We secure employment, we do job training, we make sure that our clients are healthy, physically and emotionally. Over 60% of our funds actually go to our medical care, because that is such a huge part of becoming self-sufficient and independent, is being healthy of mind and body. So that's one of those things that a lot of people think of Sulzbacher and they think of a homeless shelter, and we actually are a lot more than that.
Sulzbacher's records show that in 2018, about 1,700 people in the city of Jacksonville continue to struggle with stable housing. Sulzbacher staff members and volunteers work towards reducing that number in hopes that one day, everyone in Jacksonville has a place to call home. Nathan Dean, Inside Jacksonville.
For more information about Sulzbacher Village and how to volunteer, you can visit unftv.com.
Little Talbot Island is one of Jacksonville's state parks. Inside Jacksonville's Willins traveled there to explore all it had to offer.
Established in the 1950s as a state park, Little Talbot Island is one of 5 parks that make up miles of undeveloped barrier islands. The park provides multiple amenities, such as beaches and bird watching. Residents enjoy access to the plethora of wildlife.
I've caught a ladyfish. Further down at the jetties, I've caught a shark, drum. You know, it's all out here. Somebody told me they saw an alligator out here one time, actually. So
there are multiple camping facilities where residents can sleep under the stars.
It has access to the waterway. The facility's really clean, and the campsites have trails around them you can walk on, and biking, and this directly across the street from the beach, so there's access to the beach in the evening time.
A large focus of Little Talbot Island is conservation. As animals are protected here, residents can often find the wildlife crossing the street or on the beach.
Turdy's our yearly turtle. We've named him. He's always crossing the road at about 3 o'clock when you leave, and he is our yearly sighting of the turtle.
The environment is essentially untouched, with punishments being enforced should someone remove anything. Driftwood especially is important to the park, as you can find pieces of it everywhere.
Little Talbot Island stretches across 2,500 acres and was named after Charles Baron Talbot, the Lord High Chancellor of England, in 1735.
Little Talbot Island differentiates itself from other beaches due to it being closed off.
This is probably the most undisturbed beach Jacksonville has to offer, I'd say.
You can often find vegetation not normally found at beaches, such as cacti. Residents young and old are welcome here, but should take note of the rules and regulations to prevent harm to themselves and the park. Lauren Willins, Inside Jacksonville.
To find out more about Little Talbot Island and everything it offers, go to unftv.com. Coming up next on Inside Jacksonville, we take a look at how a local women's organization is changing the lives of youth by empowering them to speak their truth through poetry.
But first, we'll see a local couple who struggled with a deportation mishap and how their love overcame the odds of separation. What'd you say? Cool.
Tell her to shut up.
Welcome back to Inside Jacksonville.
For our last two stories, we'll take a look at a local organization trying to spark change for troubled youth, and then we'll hear from a local author who talks about her book that focuses on her journey overcoming an abusive relationship.
But first, immigration is currently a polarizing debate in America. Inside Jacksonville's Piotrus Klis talks to a young couple that had to fight to be reunited after being separated on their way home from vacation.
Immigrating to the U.S. is an expensive and complicated process that can sometimes take a decade or more. A local Jacksonville couple was torn apart while on vacation because of a simple oversight in the visa process. For Sam and Morgan Wick, what was meant to be a romantic integration of two cultures turned into a year-long nightmare.
When Sam and I went on a vacation to England in 2015, we kind of joked about the fact that he wouldn't be let in back into America because he was on a student visa at the time, but we never thought that it would actually happen and come true. So when we were at the airport to leave England, I checked in fine with my passport and everything, and then when it was Sam's turn to check in, she started flipping through the passport and started asking a lot of questions and calling a supervisor over.
The gentleman came out. We did a bit of back history, see what it was all going, how it was, see if he can help us. He went away for 5-10 minutes, came back, and he put his arm around me, and he just said that I'm just going to be honest, you're not going to be flying today.
So when I landed in America on my own from the trip, my parents were there to see me, and they were so excited to see me, and I was obviously super upset because of what had happened. And we just kind of thought it would be maybe like a week or two. He just had to go to the embassy, get his visa, passport renewed, and then he'd be right back home. We had no idea that it would take as long as it took. So after all of his failed attempts of him trying to get back into the country, we just kind of talked to our families and had long talks with each other and just decided that we'd been together for 2.5 years and let's just get married and see how it goes, get him back into the country.
We were away from each other from 2016 January till October 2016.
It was very hard to be long distance. From America to England, depending on the time of year, there's a 5 to 6 hour difference. So he would be FaceTiming me really late at night for him, but it would be right after I got off work here. So once we decided to get married, we hired an immigration lawyer, and we had to provide all sorts of proof to say that we were actually getting married and in love with each other.
After nearly a year of proving their love to international embassies and immigration lawyers, Sam and Morgan won the case and were finally reunited. That day, love beat the system.
So Sam and I have now been married for 2.5 years. We are expecting our first baby in June, and we live in Atlantic Beach, Florida. And I mean, we can look back now and laugh at what happened because it was so long ago, but we're happy now and we're excited to be parents.
Piotrus Klis, Inside Jacksonville.
American immigration process can be complicated, and although at times it seems unfair, it applies to everyone.
Poetry is not only a way to tell your story or express yourself, it's also a way to heal. Hope at Hand is an organization that helps troubled youth heal and find hope through their words.
Hope has no negativity. She has no boundaries. Hope has a brighter outlook for the future. She doesn't judge others. When people stumble and fall, she gives them courage and motivation to move forward and find peace.
That was a poem written by one of the teens helped by local nonprofit Hope at Hand. Over the last decade, Hope at Hand has been providing poetry therapy for at-risk youth in the area.
Our challenges are daily. We work with kids who don't trust adults, and we work with kids who are dealing with trauma. I think most of our kids have made mistakes. We work with kids that are living in their mistake. They can't get out of it. And I can't imagine how terrible that would feel to be stuck and having to live your mistake every single day.
Just last year alone, Hope at Hand saw nearly 1,500 kids for roughly 400 hours of programming. 1,500 kids is a lot for a small organization, but Fletcher stays driven by watching the kids succeed.
Most people in Jacksonville probably don't know we're out there doing this every single day, but we have a lot of tiny little success stories. We had one girl who had hate tattooed on her hand, and she changed the hate to hope.
The organization strives to enforce and help build confidence and self-esteem for the youth that pass through their doors each day.
One of the biggest things that I noticed is their ability to kind of self-reflect through their writing and through their art, and the courage that it takes to show up and share it in front of a group.
It's the small moments in the group sessions that add up to the overall growth each person experiences.
So our goal is to try to get them, stand them up, dust them off, have them lift their head up high again, and you try again tomorrow.
Courtney Babcock, Inside Jacksonville.
For more information on Hope at Hand and the events that they participate in, like the Jax Poetry Fest, visit unftv.com.
Conversations about domestic violence are never easy. Inside Jacksonville reporter Carliana Harris sits down with Latara Griffin, who hopes to get women talking about their experiences by sharing her story in her book.
Or once her silent scars are now Latara Griffin's loudest affirmations. She is a domestic violence survivor that did not allow her circumstances define her.
It started pretty much after the relationship had ended. It was kind of more like, again, control. He thought I belonged to him. Breaking into my house and kicking my doors in, and then it became physical.
According to the Florida Statistical Analysis Center, there were near 107,000 reported incidents of domestic violence in 2017, with 80.3% resulting from simple assault.
That moment, it was like, okay, it's going to be me in this relationship with him, this toxic relationship with him, or me be the type of mother that I see my mother be for me. Could I be that type of mother while getting my head, beat in? I had my son in my hand, putting him into the car seat in my car, and when I turned around, he hit me.
Latara knew that she had a bigger purpose, to share her hard truth with other women. So she wrote a book full of stories, poems, and scriptures.
The world that are dealing with these same things that I talk about in this book, and people don't talk about them. Like, there's this facade that is created that we're supposed to be strong all the time. We're supposed to be beautiful. Like, we're not supposed to be weak. And we get hit with these things. We get hit, we fall, we get back up, and we forget, and we pretend like it doesn't happen. So to me, this is going to talk about all of those things, and I'm hoping it'll make women want to talk about it more.
In her book Strongholds, a testimonial guide for women, Latara discusses domestic violence, abortion, rape, and infidelity.
I had fallen in love with the very thing that hurt me. I negotiated with my heart and accepted only my truth. I wanted to be loved and appreciated so bad that I was okay with compromising my dignity and standards by allowing this man of God to literally lay hands on the most precious parts of me. You can't carry your past with you. You can't look at your past and then walk into your future. You have to identify those strongholds. You have to identify those things that have hurt you, and you have to deal with them. You can't hold on to them and walk into what God has, just destined for you.
Carliana Harris, Inside Jacksonville.
Latara continues her outreach for women to face their pasts and share their stories. For more information on her book and local resources that combat domestic violence, visit unftv.com.
Well, that's a wrap on this edition of Inside Jacksonville.
If you missed anything from today's program, visit our website, unftv.com, where you'll find expanded versions of our stories, photos, interviews, and other extras. Again, that's unftv.com.
You can also find us on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at InsideJacksUNF. Thanks you for joining us.
We'll see you next time on Inside Jacksonville.